Hi, welcome to Make It Monday. Today I'm going to show you how I'm going to try to recreate this hat. This hat is from my childhood, so it's quite old. I won't say how old, but it is quite old. And it's, I'm pretty sure that my great aunt made this hat because she used to make crocheted items, or they were either crocheted or sewn. Every year we usually got something, whether it was a hat or whether it was a stuffed animal or something. But she was very creative and liked to use her time to make other people happy. So this was a hat. I think actually this was my sister's hat. Mine, I think, was like a rust brown and orange, as well as I remember. I think this was my sister's because mine was smaller and this one's a little bit larger. But you can see, look at it. I was so amazed. I had never really paid attention before, but it's granny squares. So please don't be frightened by my little foam head. My kids said she needed a face. They didn't like the plain white foam head, so we took permanent markers and drew a face on her. Isn't she beautiful? And they had to give her a name. This one's name is Judy. I have several others, and they all have names. But Judy here is our model, and hopefully you're not frightened by Judy's face. I did try to do a good job. But I just really want to show you her hat. So move Judy out the way. Okay, so this hat I was amazed to figure out, because I don't know why I never paid attention to it before. I guess because it was just kind of stored away. These are granny squares, and there are 5 of them. So there's 2, 1 on each side, 1 on the back and 1 on the front, and 1 on the top. And I did this with it just to be sure that that was indeed a granny square, and it is. Amazing. I don't know where this pattern came from, if Aunt Mary found it in a book or she made it up or what. And then she attached a pom-pom, quite cute, to the top. You can tell how old this thing is, right? And then she did some rows of double crochet down here for, what do you call that? What do you call that? My brain just totally went off the track. Brim? You know what I mean. Edging. So I made 5 granny squares in white and yellow. I did 3 of the white and 2 in the yellow, and then I made a yellow pom-pom, which I'm sure you've probably seen in another video, to attach to the top. Okay, so we'll put him to the side. And now I just have the task of joining these together. So I'm going to take the 2 right sides and place them together, and I'm going to join the sides. Unfortunately, I'm not sure that I have enough white to join this whole hat, so I'm going to use yellow instead. I don't guess it'll matter. I'm going to start with a slip knot, and I'm using a G hook because that's what I used on my granny squares. And then I'm going to insert my hook into the very corner. So I'm going to find the corner on each one, put them together. So here's the corner. And then I'm going to come up from the corner, and I'm going to find the very next stitch right here. And I'm going to just insert my hook here, and then I'm going to put my slip knot on there. And, well, if I can get the tail away. Alright. Gonna set my yarn and pull that through, and just go ahead and chain 1. Now, what I'm going to do is put a single crochet in each stitch up to the next corner. So I'm actually going to put another single crochet into this stitch, because all I did was chain 1. oops, and I want to work across the tail, excuse me, the whole time. So I'm just going to join each set of those stitches all the way across. I'm going to join it with a single crochet and work across the tail. Now, if you wanted the little ridges, because these single crochets are going to make ridges, if you wanted them on the outside, on the right side, where you could see them and feel them, you could certainly do that. You just do it the opposite way. You would join the wrong sides instead of the right, but I'm just going to do it this way. Well, and just to give you a little piece of history, when I was a kid, my grandparents had a spare room, so if we ever stayed the night, that's usually where we slept, and in that room was a closet, and the closet was very small, and as kids, you know, of course we were curious. Granny didn't really have toys for us to play with, we just played outside, so usually when we were over there, if grapes were in season, we would pick grapes, or play with the cats, or go look at the pigs or the goats or whatever. Go look at the garden. Basically the only fun to be had at Granny's house was outside. So if we were ever stuck in, if it was cold in the winter or whatever, and we were stuck inside, we'd go explore the closet. And she had a bag, like a paper shopping bag in the bottom of that closet that had all kinds of things in it. And I'm almost positive Aunt Mary made those things, but they were put away. Because I don't think my granny ever did those kind of things. If she did, I am not aware of it at all. And so she had a bag of those things, and there were little crocheted rabbits in there, I remember, were some of my favorite things. They had little clothes on, and they were just really unique looking, and I've never seen anything like that since I was a child, and I'm really kind of curious. I want to do a little Google search to see if I can find something like that and learn how to make it. They were just so cute and intriguing when I was little, and we liked to get in that closet and look at those things. So anyhow, just saying, I think Aunt Mary made those. She made all kinds of stuff. I'm going to go one more stitch to the corner. Okay, and join that, of course, do a single crochet. Now, obviously I'm at the end, so I'm going to do what I think should be done, and that is to end off. So I'm just going to chain one and cut the tail, but I'm not going to weave this in yet. I'm just going to leave it because I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to put these right sides together, and then I'm going to join them. And then when I'm done with that, I'm going to join this one across the edge just like I just did. And then after I finish that, I will come back and show you the next thing I'm going to do. I've stitched all of these together on the wrong side, and then now I need to join them. So I'm just going to put these right sides together, of course, to complete the circle, and I'm going to stitch up this side now. So of course I'm just going to use the same single crochet. And work across the tail just like I've been doing. I'm just matching those stitches again and then working single crochets throughout. And like I said, if you wanted your single crochet ridges, because they are going to make ridges, if you want those to show up on the right side, you could put the wrong sides together and do that. However, I don't think it's going to lend itself to much beauty, so I'm just leaving them on the inside. There might be another way to do this in a prettier way that's more decorative, but this is the way I'm going to do it right now. And I haven't had much success with just whip stitching them because I mentioned before on my granny square video that one time I made an afghan, and I put it together, I just put it together really with whip stitches because that's what the pattern said to do. So that's what I did, and then when I washed it, it fell apart completely and I was so discouraged, and then I just put it away for a long time and didn't even really take it out and look at it because I was so frustrated that that had happened. And I did everything just like it said to. I don't know, those whip stitches just came right out, and since then I don't trust whip stitches at all. So I use the single crochet usually for granny square projects. Just think they hold a little bit better. Okay, so here I've got my circle completed. The next step then is going to be to attach this square to the top, and of course I want the right side down because these right sides are going to have to match up all the way around. So I'm going to join it up here, and then I'm going to keep going and join it up here. Well, that one's stretched out a little bit, I think, but anyhow, they'll join up like here and then here to make a square on the top. So I'll do that and then I'll see you back here. Okay, so this, I've gone around the three sides and I just have to finish up this side here. So just gonna match up the stitches as best I can. Which really shouldn't be too hard. It should match up well. And just continue to do the single crochet round. Oops. Guess we'll find out if it turns out as well as the old hat that I found. stitch here. Go through right here as well. Okay, so that's the end. Now I'm going to go right under here to the first stitch that I made and just join with a slip stitch. End off by chaining one, clipping the tail. Now before I weave in those ends, I'm just going to flip it right side out. So it looks like fairly achieved a hat, but now what's left to do is to attach the pom-pom, and then of course to make this edging here. So I'm going to attach the pom-pom, so I'm going to take it like this and just kind of flatten it out. This is the top. This was the top square. So here's the pom-pom that I made. You probably recognize it from a different video that I've done. What I want to do is put it down through the middle right here. In fact, what I might do, instead of putting it down through the middle, I might place it here and then go down through this corner like that, and then down through the opposite corner like that. So then it'll have something to grab onto. That makes sense, because if I put both, if I put both here, there would be nothing for them to tie to, and then they would just slip right out. So coming down the corners, now I can just tie a knot right here and weave in the ends, and it'll be sturdy. So now, this is what I have. So now I have to work this edging on. And it looks like the old one is a double, it looks like a double crochet, like 5 rows of it, no, 6 rows of it. 1, 2, 3, can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yep, 6 rows of it. So I'll start off, they're pretty close to the same size. So we'll see. I'll do 3 rows and see where I'm at. I didn't have quite enough yarn to do 6 rows, so I only did 5 rows of double crochet. And so now all I have to do is weave in the ends. And so I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you the final product. Since I have 2 hats now, I enlisted the help of Molly and Judy. So this was the hat I started with, which was, it's vintage, obviously. It's from when I was a kid. And this is the hat I just made. Now, the striking difference that I've noticed is that mine's a lot looser. This is a tighter woven hat. This one somehow didn't end up quite as tight, so it's a lot looser. It could be that this has been washed so many times, but I think also there was a decrease made in this hat, and I didn't decrease at all. I just borrow that for a minute, Judy. When I made this hat, I should have probably taken decreases in the rounds of the edging, and I didn't. So all I did was, you know, keep on going with as many stitches as I had. But thinking back now, I should have probably worked in a couple decreases, at least 1 in each row, probably 2. at least in each row, and I mean, you know, for an average size head, this will work fine. And it could shrink up some in the wash, but I wouldn't say I was overly happy with it because it's really a lot looser than I had planned. So while it's a pretty hat, it just didn't quite turn out like I wanted it to. So anyhow, but that's my attempt at recreating this vintage hat. So thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed the video, and don't forget you can like and subscribe if you're inclined to. You can find a whole lot more at my website, theblueberrybee.com. Don't forget you will not find this as a free pattern because I really don't know where it came from. I'm just copying this hat that I had from when I was a child. So anyhow, I hope you have a happy day, and thanks again for watching. Bye.